Hi, and welcome to today's episode of the Laundromat Millionaire Show. We have some veterans in the industry with us today, Jodan Reed and Kelli Reed of Lexington, Kentucky, and their 10 stores now of Splash 'em Out Laundry. Today, we really get into some interesting topics. We talk about lease negotiations, doing pickup and delivery, and introducing folding machines into it as well, and machine choice. What machines are best for you? So definitely some golden nuggets in this one. This is an episode you won't want to miss. Would you like to make more money from your laundromat? Would you like those machines you're paying for to have more turns per day? Do you offer wash, dry, fold services or pickup and delivery laundry services? If not, would you like to? Whether you do or not, we have an amazing opportunity for you in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, you've probably heard about it, guys, but it's our wash, dry, fold, pickup, and delivery workshop. And to answer your first question, yes, it is for drop-off laundry, wash, dry, fold, and pickup and delivery. So if you're doing any of those things, this workshop is going to help you tremendously. But the truth is, we were pretty so-so laundromat owners and so-so successful until we launched drop-off laundry and pickup and delivery. And being able to what I call optimize your laundromat to generate more profit and more revenue out of the existing facility, that's the key to taking your life from good to great, financially speaking, with laundromats. And that's what made us Laundromat Millionaires.
You don't have to just listen to us. Listen to what some of our past attendees have to say about our wash, dry, fold, pickup and delivery workshop in Cincinnati, Ohio.
It was the best workshop I've attended in over 25 years. And what you guys have put together is nothing short of phenomenal. I think that you guys have put together both strategic and tactical systems that will make an individual who wants to own the laundromat profitable within months, not years.
Was the workshop worth the investment? Without a doubt, it was definitely worth the investment. So not only did we have two very packed days with Dave and Carla and their team, both in the classroom and touring the facilities, but we also came away with this extensive 100-page handbook. And then after the workshop was completed, I received a bunch of electronic performers and templates that we've been able to use since the workshop. Every day since the workshop, I've found myself referring back to either those electronic tools or the handbook that we received. So,
was it worth the investment? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I cannot say that enough. This was such a blessing, and I am so very grateful that Dave and Carla put this together and are sharing their knowledge and experience with others to have this to grow their business and to become more successful. Thank you, guys.
So are you interested? Go to laundromatmillionaire.com to learn more and see where you can register. All right. So Jodan and Kelli Reed, welcome to our show. We are pleased to have you. And from not too far away, you're just in Lexington. That's only, about an hour south of us?
It is about an hour. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for those of you that are on YouTube, they are the legendary Splash 'em Out King and Queen down in, so go check out YouTube. They've been, how long have you guys been doing that? No, you've been doing it way before.
A couple years on the Splash Academy, but you see, I used to put everything on just my name, Jodan Reed, and so I had videos from 10 years ago. And then
I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah, but I didn't bring those videos. It's when Joseph was like 6. It's been a long time.
Oh wow!
But then I just launched the Splash 'em Out channel, and then it's totally geared toward laundromats only.
Yeah,
so the other channel, all my personal, fun, stupid, silly stuff.
Silly things we do.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to go check that out. I don't know what I thought. I had seen the Jodan Reed, I guess a video of something you did at one point. I guess I thought maybe you just changed the name of the channel. over to Splash Them Out, but they're different
An
channels.
all new channel. I just made an all new channel, and then a lot of people had the Joe Dan Reed. I had said, well, I made a new channel, and then a lot of those came and followed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What kind of stuff do you do on the Splash 'Em Out channel? I haven't actually seen it.
Really?
Yeah. Like, do you do repairs and stuff, or more just showing around the laundromat?
Yeah, I do. We do repair videos. We do, I don't know, just like start to finish, build a laundromat from start to finish.
That was pretty popular.
That
one's got a lot of views.
Yes. And then like lately, like card systems, what card systems we like or don't like. Quarters first card. We've done
His love of top loaders.
The love of top loaders. I love top loaders, and they're great boat.
Sorry, Steve. For those of y'all that can't tell, we already know each other. I consider you all friends. Hopefully you consider us friends. They're about an hour away. We use the same equipment distributor. So if you've read my book, heard our podcast, heard me rave about HM Company and Steve Millman, my mentor back to 2009, and now a very good friend, incredible man of high integrity. We share the same distributor. They have the same experience, not as long, I'm sure, but same experience with HM. So we're pretty getting to be pretty good friends, I guess is a fair way to put it.
Yes.
At this point. So we know each other. So this will be a fun episode. We're excited to have you guys on the show. And we thank you for your time. I know you're super busy trying to get that commercial place built out, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But listen, before we jump into the episode, I want to find out, because I actually don't know the answer to this. Tell us about y'all's, just real quick, tell us about y'all's childhood and then how y'all met, because you've been together for quite a while now.
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead.
Well, I'm from Lexington, Kentucky, born and raised here. And I went to Cassidy Morton and Henry Clay High School. And then I graduated, went to college. And then, I met Kelli in college. It's funny. I met Kelli in college. She sat behind me in English 101. She thought I was the biggest jerk she ever met. I'm not going to tell them the full story, but then we left. And then 10 years later,
then you turned on the Joe Dan charm, and she couldn't
10
resist.
years later.
10 years later, I didn't see it for a full 10 years. 10 years.
You probably had some growing up to do before she was ready for it.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm not sure if he's there yet, but.
Well, I was at Keeneland. You've heard of Keeneland Racetrack?
Yeah.
Racing. So I was at Keeneland, and ironically, she was at Keeneland at the same time. And she came up to me and she goes, "Do you remember who I am?" I said, "Yes, I do." And then we've been together since. We went out to dinner that night, and we started dating and never turned back, and we got married.
And so here we are.
And then,
Kelli, what's the real story? We know there's another side to the story.
You were born in Lexington?
Well, there is a side to that story. He was a jerk, but I was born in Lexington. And, 7 brothers and sisters. So 8.
Oh, wow.
So I'm the youngest of the 8. Grew up in Lexington, graduated high school, got a job at a rental car company, worked my way up to management. Decided while I was working there that I would like to go into nursing. So I actually worked full-time and went full-time to nursing school, graduated from nursing school as a registered nurse, and decided that really didn't like it so much. We decided to start a cleaning company, and from there, it's just kind of
it's exploded. Yeah.
Exploded. And actually, we started doing pickup and deliveries from just washers and dryers in the basement of our office.
We went to H.H. Gregg and bought. We knew nothing.
No kidding.
This was 23 years ago. We knew nothing about the laundry industry. It's funny.
Right.
We didn't even know there was a distributor or anything. So we went to H.H. Gregg and we bought, 5 washers. And we bought 5 gas dryers. We hooked them all up in the basement.
Of your house?
No, of our office.
Oh, your facility.
Your office for your cleaning company.
Gotcha.
So then the cleaning company would clean like homes and clean offices. Okay.
Yes.
And so the majority of our clientele were the customers that we had cleaning homes. We just didn't have time to go in and leave our employees there. Laundry is time consuming, especially if you have 1 washer and 1 dryer. And then so we decided we were going to start.
There's nothing better than free. Ever heard that before? Well, it's not true. You know what your laundromat customers like even better than free? It's fast. That's right, they want to save time more than they want to save money in most cases. They want to get in and out of your laundromat as fast as possible, and they'll pay more for that experience. We're proof of that here in Cincinnati. That's why we added HM Company drain troughs into our newest store in Cincinnati. While they may never know why, your customers will love that your washers all drain better and faster than with old school drain pipes. As if that wasn't enough, every HM drain trough is made in the USA, so they ship in only a few weeks and everyone is custom made just for you and your project. If you want to provide your customers with a top of the industry experience in your store, then contact your distributor to order your HM Company drain trough today or visit draintroughs.com.
And so we decided we were going to start a laundromat, and then we found
one.
a ZombieMat. Yeah, it was empty, and acquired that.
And what year? So what year? That went really quick. What year did you get in the laundromat industry?
19.
I know we've talked about this, but I can't remember.
2001.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2003. Well, 2001 we got the laundry business, but when we got the first laundromat was probably 2003 or 2004.
So when you all first got together, you were in broadcasting, you were in nursing when you all got together.
Yes.
And then did you all both leave your careers to start the cleaning company, or was that like a side hustle?
Well, we made it a full time for her, and I was working, and then we got so busy I had to quit. Next thing you know, we're cleaning 400, 500 houses a month. We have a large staff. Wow. And it's funny how we went from cleaning houses to not one house. We don't clean one house now. All businesses.
It's commercial.
It's commercial only.
And with commercial accounts, they will sign, contracts. So you're guaranteed.
Yes.
Right.
An amount of money for, we do 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year.
Okay.
But I would say probably 95% to 98% of our clients will automatically just renew.
How big is your cleaning business now? Like, how many employees does that side of your business have?
More than the laundromats.
Yeah.
70, 80.
Maybe.
Oh, wow.
And during the summer, it will peak because we have a lot of empty buildings that we clean for the university that we have to flip for the students to come back.
Oh, like the dorms and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I could see that being big money.
So
Good deal.
It can go up, another 30 employees in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, teachers.
How do you handle, I know we're here to talk about laundromats mostly, but how do you handle that kind of staffing? You guys must be good at hiring and staffing and scheduling and call offs and all that stuff.
We have managers that help us out as well.
Sure.
And I'll be honest, we really don't have a high turnover in the cleaning company. Our employees make, $17 to $25 per hour. So we're able to keep them and retain them.
Right.
They get bonuses and, so our employees, we're very appreciative of them.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
We hire through Indeed. We put ads on.
Oh, you do? Okay.
We found that the quality worker, we used to do Facebook and what was that other one?
Craigslist. We used to a long time ago. Craigslist.
So,
that was like.
Yeah. So Indeed is actually the one that brings us, the.
Well, because, we look at it like this. If you're on an Indeed, a professional site like that, they are looking for a job. You put out Facebook, oh, there's a job in front of me. Yeah.
On your feed.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Any art to hiring on Indeed? Because we've actually tried that extensively and had no luck. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Even for positions within our, production positions that even pay similar to what you're describing, we've had no luck. And I've tried paid ads, not paid ads. I've tried everything under the sun. And I keep saying, how is this company like $1 billion company? We can't find a single good lead. But there must be an art to it for sure. Is there anything you've learned that you could share with us?
Well, you just have to weed through your applicants because once you click on and call their phone number, Indeed will automatically charge you for it. And I think they're charging $15 a lead.
Yeah.
So you just have to really wean through them and, It's basically just taking a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Good deal. All right. So let's get more into the nitty gritty of the laundromats, because I know you guys are at 10 of them now, right? Is that right?
We are.
10? And
So
you're
you
building-
started with one zombie mat full of Maytags.
And no. We
No?
put the tags in.
We put
Oh, you put Maytags.
It was a nice laundromat. Here was a problem with that one. We went in there with partners. Big mistake.
Oh, okay.
Huge mistake. And guess who did all the work? Me and Kelly. We did all the work, and they reaped all the benefit. And one day we just came and said, "Hey, we went out," and so they bought us out, and they bought us out for $40,000, I think it was something like that. And we saw another laundromat on Brown Station Road. We grabbed it, and so that's made us
Clean slate.
Clean slate. So we got that. Now along the way, we've closed down four laundromats, and the advice I can give anybody when they're getting a laundromat, and I've heard you say this, not all laundromats are a good idea to get just because the infrastructure's there and it's quote unquote you're going to get it for free. It may not be worth 2 cents. And I can give you an example of that. We opened one on Anniston Drive, and right around the corner from and the only reason why we got that was because we didn't want someone to compete with us for our Brown Station store. So sometimes we do those things, right? Also, we grabbed it, and man, that thing might have brought in $200 a month.
Horrible.
It was terrible. and with the way we market our business, and we do well. And guess what? After us, somebody opened it, and I said, "You should touch with us, and you would know."
And then they closed it.
There's a reason why Splash Them Out closes the laundromat. It's not worth it. And now somebody's there.
It's been reopened 3 times.
3 times since we've left. And
People can't help themselves. They see that, just like you talked about, Jodan, they see that infrastructure and they just can't help themselves, because there is value in the infrastructure, even if it's old. There is value, but that doesn't mean there's enough value to go spending $200,000-$400,000 in equipment.
The demographics were great.
The demographics, they're just fun.
Really?
No,
Yes.
So what was your, obviously you have hindsight now, but what was your assessment of why it failed? If the demographics are good, is it just insane competition, or?
I think it's safety.
the shopping center
Okay.
was,
Real shady.
and now pretty much all the businesses are closed.
There's no businesses there. Okay, they want to act like there's a dollar store there. No, it's a store that sells dollar stuff.
Oh,
And
okay.
so there's not a Dollar General. There's not a flagship store in that shopping center. And the shopping center is in the back side of a neighborhood, so it's not on a fairway.
Oh, okay. Visibility.
Yes, visibility. So you have to go back and around the neighborhood to get to this particular place. That place will never do well. Just bad location, terrible location.
Absolutely. All right. So tell us what came next, because you guys went from 1 to 0 and then 1 to 10. So you must have done something right somewhere along the way. Take us on that journey.
We thought, yeah, we like this laundromat thing. We enjoyed it. We saw how it was working at Bryan Station, and we knew how it was working at Russell Cave that we sold to our partners out. And so we just decided we'll just start looking for laundromats. And it's funny, all these places were empty that we found. We would drive hours and hours and hours and hours just looking for a place to build a laundromat or take one over. And we would find them left and right. We found Waller Avenue. We paid $2,500 for that because I just wanted the 2 front washers. I'll give you $2,500 for the front washers and just take the rest of the equipment. And they did that. We did it with a Richmond Eastern Bypass. That's a great producing store. It was empty, completely empty. And we called the landlord, "Hey, I want to sign a lease." Pimlico Parkway, same way. Pimlico didn't want to rent to us because the guy
was living there.
Yeah.
Like he had like a little grill and
it was terrible.
Wow.
So these were all existing laundromats. So they had the infrastructure, but they were closed down.
Correct.
Okay.
And I can tell you why they're closed down, because they were so dirty and nasty. Nobody wants to go into a place to clean their clothes in a dirty, nasty facility.
And you want to feel safe.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to point out one thing too, and I'm not super familiar with y'all's story, so keep us on the journey. But I want to point out one thing too. This would have been in 2008, 9. Am I guessing that right? Timeline? Okay.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people hear a story like this, which is very true, and ours is very similar. I mean, we've paid, we got one store, quote unquote, for free. We bought one store for $35K. We bought the property, the real estate, and the business was closed down. So we just bought the real estate, took over. That was our newest store. And then we've paid like 70 for one and 85 for one. So we've bought, rundown, dumpy laundromats in bad locations. But one of the things a lot of people don't realize is when we bought them. Back in this time frame of 2005 to 2015, our industry hadn't evolved to the level it has now. And I'm not saying we've arrived or anything. I mean, we still have a lot of work to do as an industry, but the industry and the opportunities that are out there are a lot less than they were 15, 20 years ago.
If I had the resources I have now.
Yeah, me too. Agreed.
I'd have 45, 50 laundromats, easy. Slam dunk, no problem.
And I think back years ago, or like as of now, like when people will ask us what we do, we'll say we own laundromats, and they're like, oh, they don't realize that we have really families that come in there that have their own washers and dryers, and they might have 15, 20 loads of laundry that they'll pack in there, and they're going to spend 2.5 hours doing that versus the entire weekend. So people are time poor now. And I think that's one reason why our pickup and delivery, as you guys know, it's picking up. People are time poor.
So we took a look at your store, and it's funny how people, and I was telling Kelly in the car, I was like, if people saw your store, they wouldn't have seen a vision to build a store as such. And that's the thing, being in this industry and knowing what you see from building something from infrastructure and then building it how you want it. We're like, this is a perfect store. This is a beautiful store. It's nice, but not many people would have that vision. And that's what it comes down to. And there's a lot of fortitude. You have to really have it within to know what you're doing in this field. Because I could see where somebody could spend $10 million and still are spending money trying to get this thing going, where you knew exactly what you were going to do. If that was someone's first store, they would probably be buried in debt.
Yeah.
Because they know where to begin. That's why a lot of people ask me, hey, should I build or should I take an existing one? My personal opinion, if you can get one that's already existing, because if you're going to build one, there's a lot of variables there. If you haven't been
talk about some of those. Let's shed some wisdom on people. I always say on this episode, especially when we have experienced operators, we take a lot of things for granted. What are some of those things when you're looking at these stores, potential stores, whether they're out of business or in business? What are you looking for that are key attributes to help you determine that you're going to acquire the store? Whether you pay a little bit for it, a lot of it for it, or you get it for free, whatever. It's all the same, right?
Yes. Visibility, ease of enter and exit, parking spaces.
Parking,
huge. I mean, you can't go to a place and have 5 parking spots and think you're going to be successful on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's your biggest laundry day. So you need to know the industry. You need to know what's big. Storefront. So windows, looking in, seeing where I could put 80s. 100 pounders, whatever. You want the big washers facing you. And then Kelly probably has a lot. Safety's huge. Does this place have a flagship store? Is there a Walmart, a Dollar General? Are there restaurants around? Is it big?
What size are you looking for ideally?
I would ideally like to have 2,000 square feet or above. Actually, so we like to start at 2,500. But I'm going to tell you something: if the opportunity is there and the infrastructure is there, I'm not going to turn it down because I can make a smaller laundromat, and then you can also, since we're already in wash, dry, fold, pick up, and delivery, maybe not even offer it in some of these stores.
Right. We do have one store that's only 1,500 square feet, and there's just not any storage.
Yeah.
For wash, dry, fold. So we don't offer it there. We do still have an attendant We like attendant stores.
Sure.
That helps with the safety issue.
Yeah,
So people feel
we did
safer.
do that in Richmond with one of our stores. We had a non-attendant store, and it was a disaster.
They destroyed the machines. I mean, I came in one day, the change machine was gone. I'm like,
Oh, geez.
what happened here?
Do you have any unattended stores now? Or are they
No.
all attended?
All
Okay.
of them are attended.
We're the same way. Yeah.
Everything's attended. And nothing against people who have unattended stores. And, so we were thinking about doing a hybrid model at some of them, maybe, be unattended for a couple of hours and have just one shift. And I think that would be okay. Our big thing is making sure the stores are clean.
It's hard to do if you don't have an attendant there.
Yeah. And segue to leasing properties, make sure your lease is good. Know what you're looking at. And I would highly recommend anyone getting into this business. And if someone hands you a 70-page lease or a 35-page lease, if it's more than 5 pages, take it to an attorney. Make sure your interests are protected,
Exactly.
Yep.
What parameters do you recommend a lease have? You say a good lease. What makes something a good lease?
Well, they can't kick you out of your space if something opens up. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, so our lease in Richmond, Kentucky, right? They sent me a letter saying, well, we're going to move your space to the space next door because we have sold this to someone else. I said, that's fine. But in that lease, they didn't realize that I put a provision in that lease. If they were to ever move me, it would be on the expense of them. Make sure in every lease you have that they can't move you. But if they do within the shopping center, that they have to pay for the entire move. We're talking about your floors, walls,
Signage,
penetrations of deducting, electric, because you're doing a brand new space. So they thought they were going to, so they sent me a letter. I said, you realize in the lease that you're going to be responsible for paying for everything. And they went and got quotes. It was like $300,000-$400,000. They said, well, I think they're going to back out of buying. I said, I don't care, but we're not moving. So that's one thing that we did to protect ourselves.
That's smart.
So it's huge. So when you're looking at these leases, don't just sign a lease, put a provision in there. Also, protect yourself with their HVAC. So a lot of these places, they'll give you a lease and the HVAC in the unit is 20 years old. I don't know how much longer it's going to last. And that's going to cost you about $10, $15, maybe $20,000 to replace. So put in there, I will be responsible up to $250 of maintenance, and I'll have a maintenance plan on this HVAC. But if it breaks down completely, you will have to replace it, not us.
And we have $1,000 deductible.
And we have $1,000 deductible. So if we'll pay up to $1,000 in repairs, but sometimes these things are irreparable. So
that's good advice. One of the things I also like to try to do, I'll just throw it in there since we're on the topic, is when I'm acquiring a store, taking over space that I don't own yet, one of the things I always try to do is sell them on my vision, the property owner. Hey, look at this place right now. Now I can show them, 4 or 5 other stores. This is what I'm going to turn it into. This is what I'm going to invest. But before I do, here's what I need you to do. Replace all the HVAC, all new, everything in there from day one. Because I always say the time you have the most leverage is when you're selling your vision. If you're good at selling your vision, selling your dream. So we'll show them, hey, we're going to invest. And this is how I always term it. I always say, look, we're going to invest $500,000 in your building. All we're asking for you to do is replace these HVAC units. I know they technically work. We both know that they're at the end of the life cycle. We want brand new units, and we want this sized for a laundromat, which is you guys know what I'm talking about there with the dryers and everything. Laundromats, when it comes to air conditioning, depending on the climate you're in, you're typically going to want 2 to 3 times the amount of capacity that you would want in heat. And a lot of people don't realize that. So you have to size them properly. But I always try to get that on them, get that on their dime. And we just count that as part of their TIA, right?
Yes.
And so it's, you're never in a better leverage position than you are when they have a rundown dump and you're getting ready to make it something amazing. And my thing is always, look, I'm going to spend $500,000. Why can't you spend 30 or 40?
Well, that's what makes us and you and anybody who has more than one location you're able to sell. You're able to sell that vision because of what you have. And if you go to any one of our stores, if you go to one store to the 10th store, they look identical.
Yep.
They have identical equipment and
branding.
There's identical flooring. But also when you're trying to negotiate a lease, I feel like you always ask for more than you think they're going to give.
Definitely.
You know, like we were able to have our location on Reynolds Road. They put in automatic doors.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I want to go back and hit on a few nuts and bolts of laundromats for a minute. So I know we kind of went all over the place, but hopefully people are getting value out of this. When you have the level of experience that we have on the screen here, we can kind of just jump all over the place and hopefully bring people value. So what equipment do you use today and how did you get on that journey? Because equipment's an important journey. And I know you guys have went through a few different distributors and things like that, a few different manufacturers even. And there's value for people that don't know anything about the industry.
Well, now we started out with Speed Queen, okay? And now we're with Hipsch. And the reason why we're with Hipsch is because our Speed Queen distributor, with whom I thought was a very good friend of mine, and Kelli, came to Lexington and opened up a laundromat less than half a mile from us. And we didn't know. We were unaware. And all of a sudden I saw the trucks in town. I said, well, what are they doing in town? I'm not going to mention their name because I'm not a guy who wants to bash anybody. So I followed the truck and I saw it. And I said, I can't believe they're opening up a laundromat right next to our top producing store. They didn't even have the courtesy to call me. So I immediately picked up the phone. I called Steve Millman in Cincinnati, who knows you and who is your distributor as well. And I said, Steve, if I were to buy equipment from you, if me and Kelli were to have a relationship with you, would you open up a store? He said, absolutely not. And you know how I can attest this? That store that's open on Anniston Drive, he had someone who wanted to put one in, and he told him no. He told him no because I'm working with Jodan and Kelli. So he's a stand-up guy, and you know, I'm not against any distributor making money, but don't step on me after you sold me so many stores, and I thought you were a good friend of mine. You know how much money he's lost since then?
I don't think they think about that. They don't, you know, there's manufacturers that make mistakes in that area, in my opinion. You know, they're free to run their business how they want, but there's distributors that do that.
You know what? I mean, ethics goes a long way. And if you do what you say you're going to do, that goes even further. I mean,
yeah. Well, and I don't know too many people are successful to the level that you all are that don't operate that way. There are some people that have some temporary success, and temporary can be 10 or 15 years. But if you look back over the course of their life, especially at the end of the life, there aren't too many people that, you know, there's a big misnomer out there that there's all these people making, you know, money, specifically in our industry, but making a lot of money by, you know, screwing the little man or whatever they want to call it. And there are exceptions for sure. I'm not saying there aren't. But as a general rule, people that are successful, especially in a service business like ours, they're doing it with high morals, high values, high character, work ethic. You know, their reputation is more solid 20 years from now than it was originally. These are consistencies you can see in the most successful people, at least in our industry. I'll speak for that. But anyways, back to the equipment for a minute. So you went from Maytag, then you went to Speed Queen, and we understand why you got away from Speed Queen. Wasn't the equipment, was the distributor. And then you found HM. And I'm just curious, did you just Google equipment distributor? Like, how did you find HM?
How did we find it?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I always ask that question.
I just knew we wanted Speed Queen. I knew we wanted Speed Queen.
Okay.
And, you know, it's funny because we couldn't use Speed Queen. We had to have an alternative. So I knew that Hipsch was Speed Queen. I just Googled distributors, and we also said we want a distributor that's close by, and HM is close. Which is great.
So when did you contact HM, and how many stores have you acquired / built since then?
Well, it's not just that. We retooled all of our stores.
All of them, literally.
Was that just to make them match?
No, just to get rid of Horizons.
And top loaders. And then we also went and bought some additional 80s and added on.
Yes. And now we've done 3 or 4 stores with Steve, but with HM. But here's what we've done on top of that. We retooled. We went in every laundromat. Now we didn't have to replace the hard mount 60s and 80s and 30s and 40s, but we were assessing. We said, okay, let's get rid of the horizons. They break down all the time in this application, and let's get rid of the top loaders. So Steve came in and we replaced most of them with 30s and 20s. So what was there in place of the top loader became the 20-pound washers. And then we just added a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I think we just trying to keep everything fresh all the time. Just because you're out of debt with laundry, in my personal opinion, when you're purchasing a bunch of equipment and then you're all of a sudden don't owe any money, that means you've gone 5 to 7 years. You might want to reassess. That's not.
I think a lot of people in the industry let go past the point where it just is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that will make the investment, borrow the money, then work as hard as they can for 5 to 7 years, pay off their notes. And then they want to, it's probably not fair to say this, but then they kind of want to coast, meaning they want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, which nothing wrong with that. But you have to have a plan for reinvesting. It can be a small amount each year. You can do it in chunks every couple years. But where people get themselves into troubles where they don't make those investments. All right, so we've beat up on horizons and top loaders a little bit, but let's be fair, because we all know we're making fun. What's a situation where somebody should use a top loader or horizon style machine?
Their first store. I think it's. I would, if I had to do over again, I would do it. I'd do the same thing. She would too.
Me too. It made us successful. I'll fully give up.
Why do you say that? Why are they good in a first store?
Because it's the only store you're worried about. It's the destination unknown. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know how well that store's going to produce, and then you're spending pennies on the dollar on a horizon than a hard mount. And
so because they're cheap, they're less of an investment.
They're less of an investment, and you don't know the business. We didn't know the business very well, so we bought a bunch of soft mounts.
Of course, we didn't realize we were going to have 10 stores.
Yeah,
sure.
And our problem was when we scaled, we were scaling with horizons. That's a huge mistake. They break a lot. They really break a lot.
Yeah, they're not, those and top loaders, they're not bad machines. I know we pick on them. They're not bad machines for the value.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm
in our commercial facility here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But so what I always tell people is when it comes to horizons and top loaders, for the value, they're a good machine, meaning they're half price or less than half price from a hard mount machine, what I call a true industrial grade machine. And so there's less risk, right? When you spend less money. I mean, if you bought a 20-pound horizon and Steve told me this a long time ago, 20-pound hard mount and a 20-pound horizon, or they call them 22.5 pounds now, you can basically vend it for about the same price, but you pay roughly 40% of the cost of that new machine. Now, the only negative to that is they are temperamental. They do break down more often. They have more moving parts, no doubt about that. They don't give the customer quite the same experience, meaning they're not as consistent. They don't spin out sometimes, and those kind of things, as we know about. Top loaders can do those same kind of things, and you have to replace them sooner. Those are really your three, and I'm curious your thoughts on those, but those are really your three negatives. So if you take the temperamental and you say, okay, I know it's temperamental, but as you said, I only have one store. If I only have one store, then maybe I can baby these machines a little bit more and keep them in service so it doesn't affect the customer a ton. And then the other side is, okay, if I have to replace it in 5 years or 7 years instead of 20 or whatever it is, then okay, that's fine because I paid a fourth of the price or a third of the price for them. Those are my thoughts on it. So I pick on Steve all the time about the horizons and top loaders. We didn't put any of those in our new store and may never buy them again. I'm not sure, but they are a means to an end. They have a purpose. I understand why the manufacturers make them. And I think sometimes when we're just kind of having fun in Facebook groups and things like that and picking on horizons and top loaders, I think sometimes maybe we do a disservice, and I'll just speak for me. Sometimes maybe we do a disservice to people that are back at the beginning of my journey. Because if you're where I started in 2009, I mean, we literally had a net worth of less than $50,000. We had that was if we sold our house. Like we had basically no money. And if it weren't for those machines, we wouldn't have been able to get a couple steps up the staircase. So anyway, I like to pick
Net
on them.
worth, Dave, my net worth was a credit card, okay? And I could barely get that. So, and I was lucky to marry Kelly because she had a little bit of money. She was more responsible than me.
Yep.
But you're exactly right on the horizons and top loaders. I do give them they did. If I didn't have them, I wouldn't be where we are today. And you're right. You're absolutely correct. We give them a hard time. And with one or two stores, I would still be buying them.
All right, let's jump on to another important topic.
Yeah, I want to hear about your pickup and delivery, wash, dry, fold journey. So I know you started out with not even having a laundromat, but you were basically doing pickup and delivery with your client's laundry in the basement of your cleaning facility.
OG pickup and delivery. You guys were doing it before it was cool.
Then you got laundromats. What did you do? What'd you say?
Well, we always did pickup and delivery, but it wasn't on a higher scale. We went to the clean show, met you at the clean show. And so we wanted to see what we could do to try to, we had 100 clients, maybe, that we were pick up and delivery, but we didn't have any route software, didn't know where to go with all that kind of stuff, right? So
were they all cleaning clients or no? You had branched out to others now too. Okay.
No, this is later on. This is when we saw you at the clean show in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
You remember? Yeah, this 2017. And then we went to your facility to do that particular brand. And so then we decided, you know what? We need all of our stuff in house, and we want to just do it all on our own and make our own decisions. So that's what we've done. And so now here we are today. We've gotten so busy on pickup and delivery because we are pushing pickup and delivery that we purchased a 20,000 square foot warehouse with the intention of putting. And it's funny, we have, Kelly said, so we have our back line of our Waller Avenue stores where we do all our pickup and delivery. We're moving all that over here. And so we're going to bring those washers and dryers over here this week. And I'm going to start building the bulkheads. And Kelly goes, we have all these Horizons and all these top loaders in here. I said, God, you're right. We might, if they're under our watchful eye, they're going to break. So we're going to just use those as well. And then we're going to use the top loaders to soak for certain linens and stains. And we bought a folder, a full text folder, something you need to come up and take a look at, Dave.
I do.
And because I see how much laundry you do, which is a massive amount of pickup and delivery laundry. So I don't know how many pounds you do a day, let's say. But Randy Roberts is doing about 2,000 pounds to 2,500 pounds a day. And he said he cut his labor force in half with his Fotex machine. And it's amazing. You just put a towel on, bam.
And it not only folds towels, it folds shirts, pants. Now, it doesn't do small children's size.
Yeah. That was one of the things I want to ask you, because I saw your video and I know he was doing towels and stuff like that. And I think it said somewhere in the video he showed doing a shirt. But I was wondering, is that a one-off or is that something the machine is really made for?
No, you can program
168 programs on the machine.
168 different type of garments you can fold. And another thing, we looked at Chicago, various brands, and the maintenance of those compared to the Voltex. I mean, like when we went to look at the Chicago, I felt very intimidated.
Yeah.
When we looked at the Voltex, it's very user friendly.
Yeah.
And not too many parts that are going to break. Randy hasn't had one problem with his. It's been in there for 6 months.
So when you use that you talked about the programming. So, and I don't want to go too far down this, but I think people are pretty curious about this. And I know I am. If you were to, you said like you have to program it to fold a shirt. So if you're doing a residential order of laundry that has shorts, pants, underwear, socks, polo shirts, hanging. So do you have to, as you're doing a 40-pound order, let's say of just, a family of three's clothes or something, do you have to keep changing the programming? It's, this is a pants.
You just press a button and throw the shirt through.
So you just tell it it's pants.
Yeah, you
And
just
hit-
press the button real quick. It's so
it
quick.
separates everything when it comes out. So if you have different size towels or shirts or whatever,
Mhm.
and it stacks the same size items together.
Oh, wow.
We do almost exclusively residential. We have one commercial account that we even do at a different store now. But we do anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 pounds a night, but we only do that 4 days a week right now. And we'll expand beyond that at one point. We were doing 6 days a week, and we were doing up to about 2,200 pounds on a heavy night and about 1,800 on a light night.
Right.
But we actually carved off, and this is part of our story I've talked about. We actually carved off about 40% of our pickup and delivery territory. That I started when I really started getting nerdy on my numbers, because I really wasn't. We really started we were losing a lot of money. And I started drilling down on the numbers, and I realized about 40% of our territory, we were either losing money or breaking even on, even at scale. But you have to understand, we were going, in some cases, we were going 45, 50 minutes from our store and then servicing a route up there. So I thought, well, if we ever get to the point where we do, 1,100 pounds, it's worth driving an hour to pick up 1,100 pounds, right?
Yeah.
But we realized on basically the west side of Cincinnati, which is a little bit older and not quite as dense in some areas, we realized the scale just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually we used to do significantly more volume than we do nowadays. But nowadays we're hyper focused. We actually raised our prices, and we make more profit than we made before, servicing about 60% of the area. So there's a lot of little like tweaks and pickup and delivery that we've just, school of hard knocks picked up along the ways. But anyway, I forget my point and all that, but
Kelli closed a 60-room hotel just 2 weeks ago. So the commercial,
that's the key right there.
I don't want me and Kelli were talking about, these big, huge plants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want their leftovers. There's a lot that they will not service. Like, say, for example, I went on their website and I looked at their reviews. Okay. I'm not going to mention any of these people by name, but I looked at their reviews. The only bad reviews they got was they couldn't get to me. They said it's not worth their time, and and this and that. So, and I'm thinking, well, how much is not worth their time? We're talking 500 pounds a day isn't worth their time, because they're doing it on pennies, 40 cents a pound, where I'm doing it $1.89 a pound.
Yep.
And they would have paid $1.89 a pound for us to do it. So we're going after those people.
Yep.
What is your current balance of like residential laundry versus small business versus commercial currently that you service?
I'd say 40% commercial, 60% residential. And it's every day, with the right marketing, we just got some additional new commercial clients in one of our smaller cities, and they're doing we just pick them up once a week and deliver them. So it works out good because we pick them up on a Thursday. The following Thursday we'll deliver and pick up again. So we're only having to do one time going on that route.
All right. One more thing I know you all are passionate about in your stores: payment systems. You have any opinions on payment systems, Kelli?
You talking about on the machines?
Yeah. Like what's your pay? Are you hybrid? Are you quarters still? Are you cards? Are you,
4 of our stores are strictly card only as of now. And we're in the process of putting an order in for the additional stores to change them. We haven't exactly decided if we're going to have them all card or some of them hybrid.
And that's Laundroworks, right? That's the brand you use?
Yes. Yeah. And
on our show, don't hesitate to give shout outs for people doing good stuff.
No,
we love a lot of work.
It's user friendly.
I'm telling you, I don't have to go to the store and collect quarters. I hated that.
So if you're busy and, for example, we're out of town and we have a member of our management go and collect, it's going to tell you exactly what you have in each machine, and you just take the card and clear it out, and it starts all over.
So it takes down so I don't have to go and collect anymore. But when we're talking about hybrid, when you said, yeah, we might keep them quarter and card, but we're not going to provide a quarter. We're not going to provide a machine that will give you quarters.
Okay. Interesting.
So, bring your quarters.
If you want to bring them, you can, but we're not going to mess with keeping up with selling them and all that.
Correct. It's
okay. I don't know too many people that do that. That's an interesting philosophy. I like that. I'll be curious. You're not there yet, right? That's
Not
the plan.
there. We're going to be there.
I'm curious how that'll go. Because if they come in, they still have an option, but you really don't want it to be quarters.
No,
But you would be, if they do bring them in, you can't use those quarters for
Oh, that's
change. So
true.
you're going to be constantly
You gotta
taking
take 'em
quarters to the bank.
You can't recycle them. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
yeah, no, I can't recycle, but that's okay.
Yeah.
As a quarter, but I won't be when the attendant calls and says, "Hey, this box is full. Won't take any more quarters." I don't care. Tell them use your card.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's going to be my thing. So it's going to be very rare that I'm going to go out and collect the quarters. It's going to be, I might do every other washer, and I'm hoping to push them to the card with those. But it's the best option to have, I think. If so, because you are a dollar coin and you do card, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're hybrid.
Yeah, so we have the Sense card readers on the machines where I always call it credit debit at the machine. So you insert it, hit start, and the machine starts. You don't have to buy a card, no loyalty, no kiosk, nothing. And then we have, that's what we have right now. So customers love that because they just walk right up the machine, insert the card, hit start, and that's it. They don't have to do anything. And it only takes that money directly out of their bank account. And they don't have to put $20, $50, $100 on a card and then have a float. I know one of the things, just to go through the whole cycle of payment systems here, since we're talking with experienced operators, I hear the card system companies talk about the float, how it's so great. And I get it for the owners that it is. But the way I always turn that around and I say, but if it's good for us, a lot of times that means it's bad for them. Meaning customers understand that we're holding their money. So if they put $20 on a card and only spend 12 of it, the customer knows we're keeping $8 of their money. And yeah, it's an IOU. But so I've always looked at the float as, there's pros and cons to everything. And it's a pro for us. You talk to people that say, I put a card system in, 18 months later, I got a $60,000 float. So my float paid for the entire card system, which is true. But then I always spin it around on them and I say, but don't forget, that means you have $50,000 of your customer's money that you haven't provided a service for yet. So I'm not saying you're taking their money. I'm just saying, think about the psychology from their perspective. So just the other side of a coin. But to answer your question, the Sense system, they're not quite there yet, but they're rolling out their kiosks very soon. And this is being recorded in May of 2023. So I think in the next 4 or 5 months, their kiosks are going to be out. And then we'll have dollar coins. So we'll have changers that sell dollar coins. If they bring quarters in, we'll exchange them for dollar coins over the counter. Our attendants will. We have debit credit card readers on each machine, so they can walk up and just put their card right in the machine and hit start. They'll eventually have phone pay as well, where you can scan the QR code, or if they really choose to, they can go to the kiosk and buy a laundry card and have the credit and the float the way the traditional system is. So it's a process, but that's kind of where we, our journey of where we were and where we're going to. But, in fairness to everybody, and then I'll let you throw your 2 cents in fairness to the industry, what I also hear too, which is an absolute truth, is that keep in mind, you have to buy and maintain every one of those systems. So if you only have loyalty card, LaundryWorks, right? And that's all you have is a card system in your store. That's the only thing you have to buy. And that's the only thing you have to maintain and keep up, because everything breaks down. If I have a hybrid system and I have, dollar coin, that means I have a coin mech on every machine in my store. That means I have a changer. Now you won't, but we do. That also means if we have Sense card readers, that we have a card reader on every machine. So we have to buy and maintain 2 things on every machine in our store. And we know that coin mechs and card readers aren't cheap. So my cost of operating my payment system is double yours. Then if I go putting a kiosk in, I have to buy the kiosk. And then if we do loyalty cards, we have to buy loyalty cards, and those cost money. So these are just trying to hit all sides of the equation here.
There's expenses, but we are going to offer a lot of optionality.
Yeah, but it costs us more to operate our in-store payment systems.
Right.
Well, and when you talk about leaving money out there of $50,000 or whatever on these cards, you know what that does for us? I'm going to tell you what that does. It's going to pretty much guarantee that customer is going to come back to our store.
100%.
And not try out another store.
Yep.
We also have a card trade-in program. Bring in your card.
Oh, good for you.
I don't care what's on it. I'm going to put $20 on it.
Good for you.
So we also have a bag trade-in program. Bring in another Laundromat's bag.
We'll trade you for one of ours.
Bag, but you give me that bag.
Good for you.
But as far as
I hope everybody just listened to what he just said, because those are two golden examples of how to operate your business and take it to another level. They seem simple, but one, if you were to mimic those two things he just mentioned, that will revolutionize your business. And then the other thing I want to add to this, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Joe Dan. The other thing I want to add to it is think about that mindset. Think about that. Forget the trading in the bags. Think about the mindset associated with how you deal with your competitors. You bring in a competitor's laundry card, we'll trade you for one of ours and give you $20. That's probably the best. I mean, that's a $20 cost of acquisition. By the way, it's not actually 20 because it doesn't cost you $20 to run those machines. We all know that too, right? And the bag, if the bag costs you, that's right. If the bag costs you $4 and you might sell it for 15, it doesn't cost you 15. Now you just acquired a customer for $4, right? And you acquired an existing laundromat. Like that is golden genius. If you all listen to this entire episode and you missed that part, you need to think about that. I apologize, but I had to point that out.
And one thing I do like about LaundryWorks, it has enabled us to acquire a database so that, for example, Christmas is coming up. So we can just send out an email saying we've added $20 to your loyalty card. We appreciate your business, however you want to word it.
There you go.
Goes to their email or text.
Genius.
So that's another way of keeping your customer coming back to you to show your appreciation.
Yeah, we've been looking for ways for years how to give back to the community and to our customers. And being all card and having a loyalty card, and to where we can email to their card, email the customer and let them know. It's just so easy to do now. When we couldn't do that before, you give away a bike, this and that, but it's just to one customer. We want to do it for all. And I don't care if you're on the lower end or the higher end. We want to treat every customer the same.
Yeah. I'm glad we went down that rabbit hole. That was good stuff right there, guys. And we don't have a bag exchange program, or let me rephrase that. We didn't have a bag exchange program, but we do now.
That was Kelly's idea, by the way.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I know we've taken up a lot of you guys' time today. We want to kind of wrap this up, but we've been all over the place. Anything that you wanted to discuss today that we haven't discussed? Carla, is there anything we've missed? I know this has been a little bit of an atypical conversation, but with your success in the industry, we could have just sat here and talked about store 1 and store 2 and store 3, but I thought this might be a better approach to it.
If people do want to reach out to you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
You can email me, jdreed5150@gmail.com. You can
go to our website,
splashamout.com, splashamout.com, and there's an inquiry page there.
Or they can channel.
And you guys are on at least a couple of the Facebook groups, right? You're on my group and Ross's group.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then probably maybe others too.
Owners, yeah.
Laundromat Owners, Laundromat Millionaire Owners Group is our Facebook group. It's free, by the way. So anybody listening, jump in there. We love to have you, whether you're getting into the industry or already in the industry. There's different groups out there on Facebook that are for different purposes. And they all, some of them are more repair oriented. Those types of things. So, but we'd love to have you in our group for sure. Great. You guys are pretty active. I'm sorry, what was that?
We're in your group, and there's some great content in there as well. People don't realize that's one of the main things. Getting in these groups, you'll learn a lot.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
And that's one of the benefits from going to the laundry events, because you can meet with like-minded individuals.
Great point, Kelly.
Yes.
I talk about all the time how I love the Facebook groups. I love that they're free. I love that people are so sharing. But Joe Dan, you said tire kickers. Man, oh man, are there a lot of tire kickers out there? And there's also, let's just call a spade because we're about being authentic here. There's a lot of laundromat owners out there giving people advice that you shouldn't be taking, right? What I always say is, and these are just anecdotal comments, so don't get all worked up, everybody. But what I always say is, let's say hypothetically, 50% of the laundromats in this country are in a terrible state of disrepair. I think it's probably higher, but let's say 50%. That means if you get in a Facebook group, just pure numbers game, 50% of the people in that group probably own those laundromats. And in my opinion, this is just a general statement. That means 50% of the people in that group, their comments, that's not good advice, right? So there's a good and a bad with everything. Just because somebody's in a Facebook group doesn't mean they know what they're doing. For that matter, just because they own 5, 10, 20 stores doesn't mean they know what they're doing. I know some horrific, I bought some stores from some horrific operators that own 20 laundromats. So we have to keep everything in context here. And my point in all this is, Kelly, what you said is genius. And what it is, you know how you know who to take advice from? You get to know them. You build a relationship with them. And you can do that through Facebook and private message and LinkedIn and whatever. But the best way to do it is to actually sit there and have lunch with them at a conference, at a workshop, at a clean show. Just walk over and, hey, you guys look familiar. Aren't you from, Splash Mount, whatever, while they're sitting there eating their Chick-fil-A or whatever. And you get to know people that way. And once you build a relationship with them and you have a 5-10 minute conversation, you can usually pick up on real quickly who the sharp ones are. And there's a million of them out there. I'm not here to suggest we're the only two, but there's a million of them out there. But you just have to understand that not everybody that owns a laundromat and not everybody that owns a lot of laundromats is going to be a good mentor, coach, or even just give you advice, even if it's free. So I just wanted to point that out, because one of the best ways to tell, who are people you should be taking advice from is to get to know them in person. And the best way to do that is at these conferences, clean shows, workshops, things like that. I know even our workshop that for pickup and delivery and wash, dry, fold that we do here in Cincinnati, it's a smaller workshop that we do 2 or 3 times a year. And we only have 15 people at them. So it's very, very small and intimate. But I tell them literally the first 5 minutes of the workshop, I tell them all, if y'all don't leave here with at least 5 or 10 friends, you're crazy. Because this room is full of people that are either at a different level or they're on their way to being at a different level. And if y'all aren't sharing, it's one thing to get information from us, even coaching and things like that, your podcast, whatever. But if you're not sharing information with each other and making personal connections with each other and taking those back home that have nothing to do with us other than you met here, you're really missing out on some of the value of this workshop. And my point is, even within a context of just 15 people in a room, we spend 2 days together, 16, 18 hours a day in these workshops. We eat every meal together, every break is together, everything is together. You can get to know somebody pretty quickly in a matter of a couple of hours, let alone a couple of days. So I didn't want to gloss over that, Kelly, because man, that might be the golden nugget of this whole show.
And I'll tell you what else we do. People we meet at the CLA or the clean show, we actually have taken multiple trips and we've actually gone to visit their laundromats and actually see their laundromats and get particular ideas that we may never have thought about.
There's a lot of great ideas out here. So many ways to skin a cat. And we're not tunnel vision people. We're always looking for ways to learn and do better of what we're, and build on that. But I wanted to tell you something real quick. You were talking about ZombieMats. If we walked outside, if everybody did a list, write a list of how many that you know of in your town, I can come up with 5 that I know of right off the top of my head. So how many are really out there doing a disservice to this industry? It's amazing.
Yep. Well, and a lot of them, depending on the market and the competitors and things or lack thereof, a lot of them are making a lot of money. Which honestly, I'm all about people making money, but not in, I'm all about people making money in service to other people.
They're not serving their community.
I think when you make money by taking advantage of people, I think that's what gives business and business owners and capitalism and that's what gives us a bad name. And so that actually makes me sick. And by the way, the only reason they get away with that is because somebody hasn't taken advantage of that opportunity. Because if there's a zombie mat or even what I call a plain Jane mat, nothing, very, very basic mat that's just killing it in a certain market, you know what that screams? Opportunity of a lifetime for a hot top of the industry operator. And we all understand that. So those are out there. They are, less than they were. I was trying to make that point earlier. They are less than they were 15 or 20 years ago because people like us are sharing information and connecting and getting to know each other and helping each other, what we call elevate the industry. So anyway, awesome stuff. We're going to let you guys go for the day. Man, thank you so much. You guys took almost 2 hours out of your day.
Have we been oh my God.
I know. Y'all are going to be late for Chick-fil-A.
No, Dave did all the talking. It was all him.
I get blamed all the time. That's okay. Listen, any last minute words for the audience today? I mean, you guys have brought Cheezo Pizza.
Keep plugging away. I'm just... We have a passion in this.
You do.
You guys do as well, and I just just keep trying hard out there, just doing your best. And I think things will come around.
True. And not everything's going to go 100% your way. So
If they do, let me know, because I want to plan.
Yeah, I want you to be my next coach.
Yes.
All right, listen. For David Carlemens, our friends Joe Dan and Kelli Reed down in Lexington, Kentucky, we hope to meet you guys someday. If you can't tell, we all give a lot of credit to our success in the industry by connecting with, getting to know others, whether it's great distributors, great manufacturers, great human beings, great laundromat owners, Facebook groups. We'd love to have you join our Facebook group. We'd love to see you at the next workshop conference, whether it's ours here in Cincinnati, or go check out our website. We're always giving shout outs. Joe, Dan, and Kelli are on social media. Every time we do a Q&A, seems like they always jump in and are sharing all kinds of gold nuggets. This is what I mean when I exhaustingly say us laundromat owners are all better together. This is exactly what we're talking about. These guys are powerhouses in the industry. If you don't know them, you need to get to know them, because there's a lot of good stuff happening in the industry. And if for those of you that haven't made a decision to elevate your game yet in the industry, you better get on board or you're going to get left behind. I'm telling you right now. We want what's best for you. Reach out to us. We're more than willing to share and to help you guys. So this is it for today. We'll see y'all next week for another episode of the Laundromat Millionaire Show. Take care, everyone.